Hey, it works now though, right? Now, hold up. I was gonna end the stream. Please tell me it works. Can you hear me? Please say yes. All right. I'm whole. Let me. I'm gonna hear myself. Gonna end the stream. Okay. We live. What's going on, everybody? The technical difficulties, as always. Welcome back. This is exercise 9 and 10, week 122. How y'all doing? Got all the advanced people over here. I was gonna play some music, and then I had the fucking weird ass thing. So I stopped doing that. All right. Mayan says, yeah, all right, okay. Welcome to Mayan, Pukna, Asia. How you doing? All right, so we got like 5 people that we're gonna go into: Astrid, Kelsey, Mina, Yuri, and Mayan. Welcome to Yuri as well. Pukna, when are you gonna post, man? I can't wait to see you, to see some new work for you. You know, so whenever you feel better, I'd love to see you on the stream. All right. Asia says, damn, I gotta refresh. Yeah, my thing was fucked up. Anyway, I wanted to show you something, man. I found before we started the stream, I found something today that blew my mind off. All right. So you ready to see this shit? I just showed it to Alexa. She couldn't believe it. All right. So what I found is an example of a student that I used to show everybody to back in 2020. Her name is Esther. She was really good. But she was kind of like a student in Do the Warriors like last year. And I used to like just give her example to everybody and just be like, yo, man, why don't you just get this? Look at this. This is so good, And then it fucking killed me that the other day, literally the same reference was done by shit. Who it was? Was it what was her name? I'm gonna get it wrong, man. What was her name? Let me just get it real quick. Ivy. Yeah. So Ivy from Do the Warriors did this the other day, and I was like, this is kind of cool. So this is what was considered really good lesson 6 in July 2020, and this is what's considered kind of good in October 2021. So I just wanted to share this progress with you because it just kind of like the whole community progress. It's not only like individual people, but what we consider good and the whole vision kind of like, got so much better. And I couldn't see this, right? Like literally last year, I used to think this was good. I was like, yeah, he got form and planes and structure and stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a little inspirational to look back and see how, everything changes and everybody is better. And, y'all need to just keep going and stuff like that. So I'm going to post this one on the Discord because I found it super inspirational. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Nanny says, good day, everybody. How you doing, Nanny? All right. So now let's get into some of the advanced people. And first up, we have Mayan. Hi, Angel. How's it going? Doing pretty good, man. I had a lot of colds today, so I'm kind of warmed up and stuff. Mayan says, now that's character development. It really is, man. It really is. Like, we're just progressing. Asia says, looks like he got a hammer taken to his head. The coarse growth is real. Whoa. Yeah, man, it really is. Nanny says, basically higher standards. Yeah, higher standards, and I feel like just like understanding how to even teach this because I couldn't even see it myself, as I said, because I didn't really understand it myself, So it was so crazy how like through teaching it, you just get better yourself, Pukna says, hopefully next week. I've been struggling with work, but I can't wait to be back. Okay, I can't wait to see that, Pukna. So whenever you feel comfortable. All right, Mayan says, last week, too much saturated yellows in the lights, face too wide, less detail on the lips, show more of the bottom plane of the nose, less of the wings, overall more subtlety. One painting and one sketch are attached. I have questions on both separate layers. Thanks in advance for your time. Thank you too. All right, I love this. She's more advanced now, so we can get into more advanced critiques. Asia says, shows how awesome of a teacher you are, Angel Senpai. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Asia. Now I realize that it was kind of like me literally begging for a compliment when I showed you this, but it didn't feel like that when I first found it. Anyway, so this was last week by Mayan. Ooh, okay. You did your own overpaints. This is really good. Yeah, really good. Mayan definitely getting there. Ooh, okay. Okay. I see you. I see you, Mayan. All right. So she did this reference right here. I showed her some of the things to keep in mind last week, and I feel like she applied all of them, which looks great. Is my work too saturated? Am I lacking more gradients? Is the reflected light on the bottom of the cheeks too light? All right. These are all great questions. And before we even get into it, let me show you something real quick. Hey, Zuni is here. How you doing, Zuni? Let me show you something real quick that actually Varun helped me found out that you can actually make your work you can make your work black or white just by pressing Control and Y. If you go to View and then Proof Setup and then Custom and then Working Gray dot gain 20% right here. You just have to find it in the menu. And from now on, you should really like work instead of working with a black layer and color, you should really use the Control and Y because that gives you much better values. Like if you actually see this layer right here, do you see how the values are different in your painting with the layer and with the Control Y? And we did a lot of experiments and we actually found out the Control Y thing is really the most accurate values and stuff. So definitely do that. But yeah, this work is really, really good by Mayan, man. I'm really, fascinated by it. Let me point out some kind of like subtle stuff that you can maybe keep in mind and change. First of all, the face is still too wide. So you kind of like have that almost as a habit, Mayan. So I want you to be really careful when doing that, So when drawing these faces, try to really like, especially the front faces, try to always ask yourself, is it too wide? Look at that, before and after. Do you see the difference? I'm gonna keep pressing before and after so you can really like look at it and see the difference because that's so important, Another thing, I feel like the neck is just a tiny bit too long. So I'm gonna move that a little bit higher. Okay, and then let me remove this on the bottom and stuff like that. So that was the neck and that was the shape of the head. Then we go into some of the shading and the colors. So first of all, I love the colors that you used and I love the design. But it kind of lacks a little bit of subtlety. So what are some of the subtle stuff you can work on? Let me first to your question. So am I liking more gradients? Nah, I think you got enough gradients. But I feel like what you're lacking is that subtlety in the reflected light and this blue light right here. So first of all, this blue light is a little too much. So you kind of over exaggerated it and it ended up being like too much. It just kind of like you almost, what it looks like? It looks like you have it as almost like a second light source. So it's literally like there's a blue lamp that's like above her that's like shining. And that's not really the case. There's just the sky and that's just kind of creating this subtle blue light. So what I'll do is I'll just go with this shadow color and then just kind of like gently fade away this blue color. So this is before and after. So just be more subtle when adding it. Now the other thing you did is this reflected light right here is just, it's too strong as you asked, and then you didn't really vary that edge. It's just kind of the same edge everywhere. So if you look at the reference, it's just more subtle, and then there's more like softness right here. So I'll make this like a lot softer, and I would really work on the transition of these kind of shadows because it's actually all shadows, right? So when you made that edge way too hard, it literally make it look as if it's kind of like again like another light source. And then another thing would be to separate a little bit this plane over here from the side. So let me just first do it and then I can kind of explain what I mean by that. So that means separating this plane with the green from this plane with the blue, all right? Because what you did, you kind of separated the big plane, right? Like you just separated this thing with a blue with this thing with a green. But that's a very basic decision, like that's great for somebody who's in like lesson, 4 or even like 6 and stuff. But in lesson 10, you got to get more subtle, So I would break the face down in a little bit more planes, especially like in that area over here. So you can see how big of a change it actually makes to think about this as one plane, this as another, and then this top thing as another, And you can see how subtle of a change I really added in order to make that kind of possible, So I made it really, really subtle and it actually looks 3D. Okay. Also, I love these little lights that you added on the nose. That's amazing. That's a great decision. Okay. What else? So the reflected light, the blue light, the shape of the head, maybe like pushing the corners of the jaw slightly higher. I feel like they're a little too low. And then maybe yeah, so this is before and after. And then also maybe like the space between the eyes and the nose might be a little too long. So maybe getting that slightly lower. So look at that before and after. So Mayan, your work is so fucking good. But you're gonna see the better you become, the smaller the changes get. So literally like when you're good, all the like literally like couple of millimeters are gonna make a big change. So I want you to work even more on the head shape and even more on the subtlety with shading. So look at the face before and look at it after. So the head shape, kind of too wide. Look at the jaw. Look at the blue being too kind of like strong. Look at the reflected light being too strong. Then look at these lines. Look at how basic it is. Just kind of goes into the mouth. So I'm just kind of like expanding it a little bit on the side and stuff. But I love the hair. Like that hair is so amazing. I wouldn't even change anything about that hair. It's amazing fucking hair. The eyes are really good. Maybe the eyelashes are a little too dark. What I love about the reference is that really beautiful eye shape and like that eyeliner in here. Like if you just add a subtle eyeliner to this, I feel like it would look really, really well. And I think like you making this like really, really dark eyelashes kind of like took away from the beautiful eye shape. So I think I would rely more on the eye shape and the eyeliner rather than like having these eyelashes. So I feel like you painted the eyelashes really well, but maybe it was just when you get really, really good, it's just kind of like deciding whether it's really the best opportunity to paint them and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe with a little bit less of them, it'll look probably a little bit better. Also, maybe the lips are supposed to be slightly darker and maybe a little bit more pink, so that way you can really connect the red in the mouth to the pink in under the jaw. And I love that color transition in here. Everybody, look at the colors below the neck. Like, so gorgeous. Like, how she built them up from, like, this yellow, orange, red, and purple. Man, crazy good. Crazy good. So maybe in here, adding a little bit of, like, softer edge around the mouth. I feel like that'd be really good. And then defining a little bit more of these corners right here. Okay. So a little bit more definition in the mouth corners, and then a little bit softer in the corners of the lips. Also, this right here, the corners of the eyebrows, like the eye area, maybe it's a little too low. So I'd get that a little bit higher. And I feel like it might be a little bit too dark, or maybe the glabella. Yeah, maybe the glabella is too light. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So maybe the glabella too light and then too hard of an edge. So you got to be very, very subtle with this stuff. I feel like, now that you're like getting into this like wow level work, you got to develop even more subtlety. Also the edge in here, like look at that edge, how it's everywhere is like too harsh. So develop a little bit of softness in some places, like vary that edge even more. And then look at the glabella that I'm talking about. Like you see how prominent you used to have it? So this is before and after. Look at how now I keep the glabella, but it's just softer. And it's like closer in terms of value to all the planes that are around it. So this is the whole overpaint before and after. I feel like it's an amazing, amazing painting. So just some subtle stuff to think about. Oh, maybe final thing though. I feel like the highlights are still a little too yellow. Maybe like having them slightly more. You know what? Let's try like a darken layer. This is a trick that actually Breno showed me. Having a darken layer and then having like these kind of darker blue right here. Yeah, like this darken blue, and then just darkening it, and then that darkens all the highlights, but maybe a little bit lighter. Yeah. So see this layer right here, look at what it does. It just kind of like makes all the highlights have this sort of a desaturated, almost like blue effect, right? I'd probably make it even more blue. Yeah, somewhere around here. So it used to be like maybe even lighter, so it doesn't affect the midtones, you know? And then maybe I'll definitely erase it from the face because I don't really like that in the reflected light and stuff. I just want it in the highlights. And then what I'll do is I'll just drop the opacity of that down to like 30-40%. So what that does is just kills the saturation in the highlights, because saturation in the highlights makes everything glow, but like in a very cheap way. So let me show you real quick. If you go to camera raw filter and you go right here to tone curve, if you increase the highlights, look at what it does. Like it makes everything glow, but like super cheap, right? Now, if you darken the highlights, it actually tones down this and it makes everything actually look much more like subtle and much better. So I feel like either the trick that I showed you with the darken layer, or just doing this thing in camera raw in order to kind of bring down the highlights a little bit. So another tip, and then I'll maybe erase a little bit in the face because I love the glowiness in the face. I just don't like it in the highlights. So another thing that I would recommend you is to start editing your painting after you're done with it. You know, like I feel like right now you're just kind of maybe look over the colors and stuff, but I don't know if you necessarily edit it. You know, like the same way that we edit references, you need to be editing your work because it's just gonna make it much better, you know? So keep that in mind for the next painting. And this is the OP. Let me clean it up a little bit, but it's gorgeous work, all right? So check out the Discord, everybody, so you can see this painting by Mayan. Looks amazing, bro. Let me save it, okay? And then she got a little sketch and another maybe question that we can look into. So this is a painting. Oh, looks pretty good. How are the eyes? Okay, great sketch. Wow, really good sketch, Mayan. This looks amazing. I love that reference. I actually saved this reference the other day. Like, I love it so much. Let's actually maybe talk about this sketch and some of the things you can kind of think about. Man, look at that nose. Look at the eyes. Yeah, everything's gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous in the features. I feel like maybe just the face is a little too pointy. So what I may do is kind of just grab the liquify and slightly push it inwards and maybe kind of not make it as pointy as it is, because I actually love the reference how she got a little bit of kind of like this kind of more roundness, or like, you know, squarish type of thing, you know, so a little bit like this. So this is before and this is after. So real subtle, just pushing it in and making it a little bit curvy. Also, I don't know if adding this hair right here is going to be the best, because I kind of like this going behind her ear. Maybe if you just keep this one. So I'm talking about like just the design of the hair. I like this green piece is okay, but I don't know about this blue one right here, because I love the effect again of the reference, how everything goes behind the ear. So I'll just need to check how it looks in colors, you know. But this is some of the stuff that you need to start thinking about when you're really advanced, is how is that gonna affect kind of like the vibe of the reference, you know? Does it look good to actually have a hair over here? Because if you have a hair, it might kind of interfere with all the colors that's happening. It might kind of interfere with the composition. So adding even small stuff, like even you making this hair over here with a red, making it too curly might kind of, you know, make the portrait worse. Because actually this portrait, I love this kind of like long line. But if you make it like too straight, if you make this line too straight, then it's not going to look good either. So it's a very subtle balance, and thinking about some of the things that you need to kind of like keep in mind. Maybe this thing needs to actually go lower. And what's funny is I always I always talk about this to advanced students and stuff, is that the smaller a decision is in a painting, at first, of course, the more time I need to think about it. So it's something like literally like a little hair or something that might affect the whole design because it feels little, but compared to everything else, it might change a lot. So this is just some things to keep in mind when you're designing the line art and stuff. But I love it. I think this is literally your best sketch and stuff. So this is just some of the stuff I did. I just kind of pushed the head inwards, and I kind of removed this maybe like from here. But again, I think I need to just see it in color, and then we can kind of make these decisions. But I'd love for this maybe to be like your graduation piece, or we're gonna see exactly how it looks. But she's getting really, really close to graduation. I just want to see her do more. But even when she graduates, I'd love to give you just feedback on live streams and stuff. So I'm gonna post this one on the Discord as well. So amazing work, Mayan. I can't wait to see this in color. This is amazing. Really, really good. Super excited for you. All right. So that was Mayan. And next up we have Yuri. Okay. Hi Angel, how are you? Doing pretty good, man. First submission in lesson 10. Okay. Yeah. I kind of, because there's fewer people in here, I usually talk more about like advanced stuff. So hopefully it's like not too advanced for you guys, but I think it might be interesting and stuff. Hey, Andre is here. How you doing, Andre? Yuri says, no questions yet. Just looking forward to your critique. Thanks in advance and have a nice day. Thank you. You too. So this is last week. Oh, these are the old still lives. Yeah, I'm going to post them new references real soon. All right. And this is a new one. Okay. God damn. Yuri out here. Okay. Looks amazing. I love this one. And then the... Oh, whoa. Look at that. Wow. Whoa. Okay. Damn. First trying color, though. Both of them look really, really good. Wow. I love that kind of like attention to detail. Like, look at those lips. Look at those fucking lips, man. They look so gorgeous. Okay. So amazing work, Yuri. I feel like it still might get better with the color and stuff. Like, I feel like the color is just a tiny bit dull, so it can maybe get a bit more vibrant. But everything, the structure, the rendering, like everything is on point. So I just want to see you kind of like experimenting more with the color and pushing yourself with just kind of getting better color. And we're gonna talk about it in a second. Mayan says, thank you so much, Angel. You're welcome, Mayan. She says, Yuri killing it. Yeah. Nani says, almost graduating. Yeah. Yeah, can't wait to see more people graduate, man. Okay, so what I was gonna say about Yuri is, for example, notice this blue in here, right? Like, it looks really neon, right? And then in yours, it kind of looks a little kind of desaturated and stuff. Let me see how you introduce it in a portrait. Yeah, so you added the shadow and then you try to do it, but I feel like you added it a little too light. So what that means is you just need to build it up a little bit slowly, like a little bit slower. So whenever you have this type of color lighting, you need to build it up slowly with like a darker color first, maybe something like this, and then go on top and actually add this, the light and stuff. Because if you just start out, I feel like you literally started out with a highlight color. It ended up looking a little too bright, but like not in a good way, like just like too bright, overly bright. So that's why it's so important to really build up these colors, especially color lighting. So when you have color lighting, super, super important to be built up and stuff, in here. And another really important thing is when you have color lighting, it needs to look good without it. And I think that you have it this way, like your portrait looks really good without the color lighting. And then it's just literally like, it's kind of like the cherry on top and stuff. So it looks really good, and I can't even do it in the overpaint and stuff because you have to do it at the beginning in order for it to make sense and stuff. Because if you do it afterwards, it just looks kind of weird and fake and stuff. But that's why we always talk about, it's really hard to fix colors. You can just kind of build them up, So if you start out kind of super, desaturated and stuff, it's really hard to do it afterwards. So that would be my only recommendation, is working more on color lighting and making sure that it's more vibrant and you're building up slowly. But everything else is amazing. So I feel like you might even be ready. Yeah, you know what? I feel like you're ready for some colored females. So for next week, maybe do one colored male and one colored female. So one male and one colored female. And I want you to maybe look for references that have that color lighting, so then you can kind of practice that and practice vibrancy. So let me show you some of the references, So maybe something like this, something that has some of that vibrancy. I think a lot of them have it. But yeah, I'm really fascinated by your work, man. Everybody in the chat, Asia says, so good. Pukna says, so beautiful. Mayan says, you're killing it. Nani says, looks so good. Yeah, everybody agree, man. It looks amazing. So don't get spoiled, though. Don't just kind of like, kind of say, oh, it's good. I'm going to not work on it hard enough next week. You need to keep working hard, So you're doing amazing. I just want you to work on this color lighting. Keep that in mind. And then move on to females. Do another male also, but work on that. Mayan says, I love the sketch of the bearded dude. Yeah, let's take a look at that. So I'm going to post this one on the Discord, Yuri, so you can check it out. But definitely the color lighting is something to work on. Yeah, the sketching here. Oh, yeah, it's amazing, bro. And that hair, too. And the beard looks pretty good, too. Yeah. Amazing rendering. Really good job, Yuri, man. So proud of you, buddy. So proud of you. So keep on working. All right? All right. Next up, Yuri says, I think I get it, Angel. Thank you. I'll try it on the next portraits. You're welcome, buddy. Can't wait to see them. All right. Next up, we have Mina. Hi, Angel. One shading are attached. Please review and advise. I attached the hand painting that I tried to reflect your theory. You may not like it, but I wanted to reflect your theory into reality. If you're okay, can you review and advise? Her face doesn't look balanced. Please fix. When I took a photo of her, the color came out too white. The original color is more yellowish. Can you advise how to adjust the photo color and how to take photos to avoid flashlight? Thanks in advance. All right, let's see what you mean by that, because I'm not sure. So this is last work. Okay, this is the final. This is Mina working on some more black and whites, looking pretty good, pretty good. And then this right here, what is that? Oh, it's like a hand painting. Oh, okay. So you mean like it's a traditional? Okay, okay. So you did like a traditional painting with the method. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So she asked me, when I took a photo, the color came too white. The original color is more yellowish. Can you advise how to adjust photo color and how to take photos to avoid flashlight? Hey, that's a great question. This is not really related to digital art, but we can talk about that. So how do I color adjust? Is always camera raw. So I get the photos and I go to filter, camera raw, and then I adjust everything in here. So if you want to make it more yellowish, then you just adjust the temperature. You make it more yellow. I'll probably increase the vibrance, and then I'd play around right here with the primaries. So calibration. You go right here into calibration and mess around with the calibration, and then you can kind of get whatever effect you kind of are looking for. So if you want to make it more yellow, you can always make it more yellow, or you can go into split toning and then just introduce more warmth, and then in the highlights, I usually make them slightly colder and stuff like that. So I guess this would be like a more yellow version. So this is before and after, like a more yellow type of color if you're looking for that. And then how to avoid flashlights. Well, you just don't use a flashlight. And the other thing would be to make sure that the paint is dry and make sure that you have really good lighting. So never take a photo with just one lamp that you have. Like, make sure that you have multiple lamps and then take a photo, and make sure that it's better to actually get an LED lamp, or even like this thing called shit, what do we called? Flash, shit, what do we call that? The white box. Was it like a white box lamp? Shit, what do they call that? Shit. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The light box. Was it a light box? The big thing that like, you know, fucking shines in white and stuff like that. God damn, what are we called? LED light box. Okay. Maddie's here. How you doing, Maddie? Asia says, damn, killing it in traditional art too. Yeah, really cool. Mayan says, by the way, Angel, will you have an editing lesson on PA? Yes, we will. In lesson 10, we're gonna have a whole video about how to edit and the science of editing and all of that stuff. So that's definitely coming. All right, I forgot how this thing is called. But you need to get like some sort of a LED lamp that's actually like longer, light diffuser. Nah, it was something different, man. Like it was just two words, light diffuser. Yeah, light diffuser can work as well. It's just like a big white sheet that actually makes everything kind of like diffuse the light. So basically just want to stay away from like direct light, when you're taking a picture of your traditional art, because that's just going to put on a lot of highlights, and the best thing to go for is LED white light. That's the best. So that's what I'd recommend you for these highlights. All right, let's maybe talk about this black and white shading right here that Mina got. It actually looks really good. So definitely looks better than before. So I actually love it. It looks really, really good. I think what I would change a little bit is maybe like getting a little bit of a darker value and then just kind of darkening some of the lights. Because I feel like the whole face is a little too white. So just the local value is too white. So just slightly darkening that. So look at this before and then after. Before, after. So just slightly darkening it. Also, I love the eyes. I love the eyebrows. The nose looks really good. So yeah, good job, Mina. This is definitely a good one. The sketch looks really good. So maybe just do another one like this, and then we can kind of maybe experiment with some color and stuff. Go back to into some color, but you just gotta practice more shading. But this is definitely getting better. This definitely looks better than before when you kind of like didn't really put any weird stuff under the eyes. So it looks really, really good, Asia. It looks really, really good, Mina. So work on some of that, and good job on the traditional painting. Hopefully the editing thing helped you. All right, softbox. Yes, thank you, Julia, baby, man. God damn, softbox. That's the word I was looking for. I'm so goddamn stupid. Yeah, softbox. That's the thing I wanted to say. I got like 3 of those because I actually used it for my art book when I was shooting it. And I think if you go on eBay, not eBag, eBay, and you write softbox, I think it's pretty cheap. It's like, yeah, $40 you can get 2 of them. So like one is like $20 and stuff like that. So I'd really recommend you to buy one of them and use for any lighting that you use. Okay. Nanny says, I used to wait for the sun to hit my paper and take pictures. Oh, no, 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 no. I forgot. Don't ever do the sun. Don't ever. The sun is not a good light source for taking pictures of paintings because the sun is actually too powerful and it actually makes everything super reflective. So definitely don't use the sun. That's a really bad idea. It's actually much better to just use the white LED light and use a diffuser. Definitely not the sun. Mayan says that's the reference Chris did. Oh yeah, it is. The one that Mina did. Yeah. All right, so that was for Mina. And then we have Kelsey. Hi, Angel. Last week you told me to spend more time on rendering the hair. How does it look this week? Thank you for your time, Kelsey. You're welcome, man. Kelsey, another one that's getting better and better each week. So this was last week, looking really dope. And this is this week. Okay. Real good structure. Something looks a little weird around the eyes, though. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Let's actually take a little look. I feel like the design in the eyes from the sketch was a little bit weird, and then it just kind of like, it didn't really change that much in the final. I think what it is that final line of the eye, this one right here with a red, is just not really rounded. Like it's not as rounded as it needs to be. So yeah, it's a little bit in here. Like I think Astrid has that problem, and it kind of causes the eyes to look a little weird because it kind of lacks that some of that structure. Also, you showed too much of the jaw right here. If you look at the reference, first of all, the angle of the jaw is like that, and then your angle is actually like this. So yours is more straight. It's a lot more like that. And then I feel like in the reference, you can kind of see this amount of the jaw and then look at yours. So in here, this is much smaller than what you have. So even small stuff like that is going to make for some weird ass design. Also, the lips, I feel like the lips are a little too kind of straight. So it just kind of looks a little bit too much like an M. And then in here, this middle line kind of goes a little too much like bam, 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 bam. So that actually, because it kind of just makes for some weird sort of proportions and stuff like that. And then maybe this corner of the cheek is a little too round and it's a little too pushed forward. So it actually needs to be a little bit more kind of like that and coming down. All right. So it was a little bit too kind of round and stuff. So I think those are kind of the main issues: the eyes right here, the cheek a little bit, and then the mouth thing that I showed you. And that's kind of like what I feel like took a little bit away from that beauty, because the colors are really good and the rendering is a little good, is really good, but just these problems in here are apparent, like that same thing, this, the eye, and then the lips. Like the lips are just really kind of super stretched out, and they're like really, straight and stuff. So it's funny that it's literally the same issues that are in the sketch. Hey, Hustle is here. Hustle says, "What's good, everybody? How you doing, Hustle?" So be very careful, Kelsey, with designing just the sketch and stuff. Again, I think like you're kind of similar to Mayan, where like you're already really good, like you understand the structure, you understand color, you understand rendering, but like the design is super important now. Like this design right here might be okay for somebody in like lesson 8 and stuff, but since you're in lesson 10, you got to understand a lot of subtlety. Also, right here in the jaw, I'd really be very, very careful with kind of like the wrapping of that kind of cheek and stuff. It just feels a little too straight, so it just kind of doesn't really feel like you really got the subtlety of the jaw right here. Also, it feels a little bit too messy around here with the jaw, so I'll just kind of make the whole thing maybe like more like the same blue and stuff, and then work with the silhouette. So it's much more important to have a great silhouette and keep the shading clean than to really rely on the shading and the rendering to kind of create some sort of a shape, but then the contour is like really straight, you know. So because the reference got more of this kind of like pronounced cheekbone and stuff, you have to show it yourself, but just really, really subtly. So this was before and this is after. So just more work on showing this jaw, and then more cleanliness in here. And you know what the other issue is? Yeah, this color right here. This color is a real big problem. I'm talking about this one with the white, this dark blue, because what it is you really made it look like the blue is a shadow, and it kind of looks like that in the reference. But if you literally paint it like this, it just looks a little weird. Like you should really let the shadow be more of a warm color. And don't get that twisted, because I always say like build up the color, like the neon color and stuff. So you need to make a darker version of it, but you just did that too much. So when you make the blue, the neon blue, when you make it kind of like super dark in order to create the illusion of a shadow that it creates, then it starts looking really weird, because she actually looks like she has blue skin and stuff like that. So that's something that I feel like is also makes the portrait look kind of uncanny and a little weird. Is that really blue color right here? You see this one right here? So that's a pretty big issue. Is really being careful with the colors that you build, especially for these neon lights, and finding the balance between, building it up and making it darker, but then also like look right here around the chin, like this really dark blue, and then look at how it ends. And if you look at the values, it's literally the same value as the shadow. So that actually plays a really weird mind, a really weird trick on the mind, because it make it seem like this is a shadow and this is a shadow, but they're two different colors and they end very separately. So that actually makes the mind believe that they're like almost like two different colors of the skin. So that's why I say you need to keep that like shadow more consistent and have it more warm, and then have the blue like brighter and then just like more separate. So don't have that super dark blue. So this is before and after. So do you see the difference right here around the mouth and right here around the forehead? And I think even when I overpaint it, it just doesn't look as good because it's so hard to remove since once you added it. So be very careful with that. Also, right here where the nose is, I would make that nose brighter, like the bottom of the nose. I would literally make it as bright as you had that kind of cheek, so it can really stand out. I feel like you made it a little too dark, so it just feels like, it kind of didn't really show as much. So this is before and this is after. So as we talked about some of the design issues with the jaw, the eyes, the lips, and then colors in the forehead, and this kind of like darker blue and stuff. I think those are the main things in this portrait. So hopefully you kind of understood it and you'd be very careful in the future, because that kind of like can really mess up the colors. Also, another quick thing, be very careful with really big areas of the same shadow. Like if you see right here below the neck, like that white triangle is just the same color. Like if you literally like look at the color slider, it'd be the same color everywhere. So that actually makes it seem kind of flat and a little too empty. So I would really think about kind of like some variation, or maybe like some saturation and brightness coming from below that. Maybe like some saturated red, like right here. So it can definitely have some of that variation. Because think about it, if you were gonna just paint this in black or white, right? Like you wouldn't just put a whole ass shadow the same value everywhere, because that would just make it, flat. You would add actually some variation. And the beautiful thing about color is that you can add this variation through, not only hue, but saturation and then different colors. And again, keep it consistent. Like this right here, you made this shadow look really desaturated and really blue and stuff, and it actually looks kind of off. So I'll just keep it more consistent and make it more red. I'd make this more red, I'd make this more red, and just kind of keep it consistent everywhere, so it looks like it belongs to the same painting. And now look at this overpaint before and after. I want you to look over here in this area. You see how it actually brought it to life, because there's more of that saturation. It's not even the saturation, it's actually just the warmth. There's just the warmth there, and there's not these like super gray blue shadows and stuff like that. So that's what's really, really important to understand, is when you're kind of building up these colors, to keep the shadows consistent, have some warmth in them, and not make them like too dark and too black and stuff like that. Okay. Hustle says the colors are great. It's we're doing great. Good to see you, Angel. Good to see you too, buddy. These colors are nice. Yeah, they're good. 90 says my baby hands are ready for color. That's so cute. Yeah, we're gonna get you to color though. We're gonna get you. Asia says so many references. I can't wait. Let's grind, Danny. Yeah, man, you're gonna get there. You're all gonna get there, man. It's really possible. All right. But you see how important values is, so you can't really like get there. You can't really understand color unless you understand values, and you can't really understand values unless you understand lines. All right. So that's why the course is built the way that it's built. So check out the Discord so you can see the overpaint, Kelsey, and those are some of the things you need to work on. So I'm gonna see you next week. All right. 90 says, hard to grind on art when I'm having exams. Oh my God. Asia says, damn, everybody in school. Really true. True. Everybody in school, man. God damn. All right, so that was Kelsey, and finally we have Astrid. Hi, Angel. Submitting another female this week. Nani says you're not. Nah, Asia isn't. Asia, are you gonna tell them or should I tell them? she's a little bit older, man. She's a little bit older. That's why she's so mature. You know what I'm saying? Astrid says, "Hi, Angel. Submitting another female." Asia says, "I'm being graduated school. Love. I'm 31." Yeah, I hate to break it to you, man, but Asia in her 30s. That's so cute though. That's so cute. I love having all type of ages, man. Shit. Now it says, well, I'm only like 17. Well, I'm actually jealous. I wish I had this fucking knowledge when I was 17 and 16. God knows you're like fucking miles ahead of me. You know, like at 16 and 17, I didn't even know what color was. I didn't even know how to fucking draw and stuff, you know? All right, Astrid. Hi, Angel. Submitting another female this week. I spent a long time working on the eyes, so hopefully they've improved. Thanks again for Julia for the help. Shout out Julia for helping her with the eyes and helping everybody else. Last week, make the eyes close, Joyce to square so it'll smudge on the cheekbone. Questions. Do the eyes look better in both the sketch and the rendering? How can I make the eyebrows more natural? Thank you. You're welcome. I love I love seeing you get more obsessed about these eyes because they're really important thing, you know. So this is her painting today, this week. This is the process. This is the sketch. Okay, definitely looking more 3D than before. But I feel like they still are lacking a little bit, you know, especially this eye right here, like having this kind of thing and then going inwards. It actually looks like her eye is gonna pop out, you know, like her eyeball is going outside of her head. She kind of looks like a frog. Let me see real quick. Frog eye. Yeah, you see how the frog eye just kind of comes out and stuff? That's kind of how it looks like with you, Astrid, a little bit. So yeah, that's not that's something you need to work on. Nani says, wait, Chris says hi. How you doing, Chris? Good to see you, man. And then I feel like the eyebrow in here, if you look at the reference, look at the size of this eyebrow, right? And then just transfer it over to yours, okay? Now, if you transfer it over, you can see how yours is much smaller than the reference. Look at the difference between that. It's really small, you know? And then also look at the angle of the eye. So the angle in here is like this, and like that, okay? Now, if you look at the angle in yours, is actually this, this. So that final line, this is the line you have a problem with, Astrid. You we kind of talked about it with Julia, how that line just trips up so many people, you know, this line right here with the green. So if you look at the reference, look at the angle, look at this angle with the green, and then look at the angle that you have with the red. You know, it's literally like a different angle. So your angle is a lot more like that, and then the reference is a lot more like this. So when you mess up the angle of like one of the lines and then you mess up the size of the eyebrow, naturally it's gonna look kind of weird, you know. Now you probably don't see that because you still need more practice, but you got to be really careful, you know. And you gotta, I'm showing you all this stuff just so you know like what to work on. And then this eye right here of the frog, I think actually Julia had the same reference. So let me see. Did she post it on Instagram? Yeah. I feel like maybe you shouldn't really focus on eyelashes right now, but you should maybe focus a little bit more on the structure. But I think the eyelashes look pretty good. It's just that the structure and the angles that are a bit wrong, you know? Did you have a question? Do the eyes look better in both the sketch and the rendering? Yeah, they look better than before, but they still need more work. You know, like they still need for you to work on them. And then in here, I feel like a big problem is this line, you know? So this line and this line. So it's much better if you just kind of push this if you just push this line out and then connect it to the eye. So something like this. This would look much better than having it go down and then out, you know? So look at the before and after. Also, the nose, it looks better if you just slightly make it a little bit longer so it can really look like it's wrapping around, you know? And then look at the space between the mouth and the nose. That's a really big thing that trips up a lot of people is the space over here. So look at the reference and then look at yours, you know? Look at that. Literally like it's this right here with a green. That's how like yours is much bigger, you know? So all these small proportionate issues I'm showing you kind of make up for like problems with the design. You know, over here you see the eyebrow as well. Like this eyebrow, and then if you just bring it over, you see like yours is smaller than that. So it literally might be like this right here, this how much smaller it is. But when you stack them problems on top of each other, it starts looking really weird. So I'm gonna post this one on the Discord as well with all the kind of like tracings and stuff so you can check it out. But what I want you to do, Astrid, is check even more of your proportions. I'm gonna post these angles as well. So check your proportions even more. And I swear, man, like your colors are amazing. Your rendering is amazing. The hair, amazing. But it's just these proportions and that sketch, Astrid. That's really what's holding you back. If you get a slightly better proportions and better sketch and stuff, and you apply this rendering, look at how good her rendering is. Look at how good her colors are. They're gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So gotta really be working on more sketches and stuff. You're Julie Julia says, I like how Julia has Yuri a brick. So I'm always like, who the fuck is Yuria? Julia says, but to be fair, these references' eyes are really hard. Yeah, yeah, they are. They are really, really hard. So, you know, definitely hard. And Astrid is actually getting better and better. So, really good job, Astrid. I want you to keep going. Just be very careful with this stuff and then check your proportions on top of the reference. Bring your work over to the reference just to see how it looks. But look at that painting and the colors. Like, I feel like she got like better colors and rendering than almost anybody in the course. You know, look at how good that feels. Look at the nose, like amazing rendering, amazing colors, but just that kind of like little proportion stuff. That's what it is. Raquel says, Wagwan Yao, how you doing? Asia says the reference eyes do look weird. Maybe it's the angle. Yeah, it's just a hard angle. So Astrid, do more, and I'm gonna see you next week. All right, keep it in there. People were just talking about some graduating in high school and stuff like that. All right, keep going, Nani. You're almost there. Might as well finish what you started. Oh, you're talking about high school? Yeah, I actually wanted to drop out of high school as well. Because I was so devoted to painting. I was like, man, this shit just wasting my time. But you know what? My parents told me that if I drop out, they're gonna keep me out of the house. So I didn't. So yeah, I should probably not do it as well. That's a kind of a, you know, but you know, it's not really like you need it in anything. Anyway, that should be your choice. So thank you so much for this week, man. Really good progress. Y'all just keep going with this shit. Y'all gonna get it. Have a nice weekend, and I'm gonna see you next week, baby. Bye bye.